Hi crafters, this is Crafty Savvy, and before we get started on the journal that I just completed, I just wanted to say that I hope that you and your families are all healthy, safe, and well. I can hardly believe everything that is going on in the world right now. I never in my lifetime thought I would ever see anything like this, but here we are, and I guess we're just staying away from each other as much as possible right now and spending some time making sure that we all stay that way. Healthy, I mean. So we're going to spend a little time together and go through this journal. And I hope you guys are maybe getting some crafting done while you're at home, or maybe, you know, cleaning up. That's what I did. I've been cleaning up and trying to come down to my craft room as much as possible. I created another journal from those pieces of material. So last time I told you that I had gotten these pieces of fabric from my dollar store, and I made the first journal out of this material. So this one here with the giant button on it. And so we went through that one last time. And so now I've completed another one using that really pretty fabric. I don't even have a piece of it left, but that's what it looks like. And very beautiful. I love the colors. And so I chose that. So I put some doilies on the side there. I found some ribbon that coordinated. This is just a piece of, I think this is sari. No, this is not sari, I don't think. What that is. This is actual, the green one here is real silk though. It just feels so beautiful and so dainty and delicate. So I used that there. I found this button and it was already covered in some fabric and it kind of tied in with the colors. So I just used that there. And I tied a little bow to keep it closed. And then on the ends of the ribbon, I had these button butterflies. Oh, I threw out the top. I should have kept that. Anyway, I got these at Dollarama, so my dollar store. And sorry about that blinding glare there, but this is so little wooden butterflies with holes in the centers. So you could, so they're buttons and you can put some thread through there. So I thought those were really cute, but I glued them down first, back to back, two of them, and then did some sewing just to make sure that it didn't come off of the ribbon. So that's what I did there. I used some metal photo corners there, and I did some crazy stitching around the edges. So we'll just go in here. Oh, and before we do, I just wanted to tell you something else. I also decided that I was going to use up the fabric that I bought, but I also wanted to start using up some of, well, let's just put it out there. I will never in my lifetime use up all of the paper pads that I have in my craft room. It's just impossible. I'm a bit of a paper hoarder. I have an addiction to paper, but I'm trying. So what I thought I would do is try to take one or two paper pads, however many it would take, to coordinate with the fabric and use some pieces throughout my journal. I don't normally do that, but I'm liking it, and it's actually helping me use up some of my paper pads. So I did that with that last journal that I showed you, and this time I'll just quickly show you what I used because these are super old. This one says 2014. It's DCWV, and it's called Vintage Collector, and that's how it looks. So I used a few things out of there. And then I got this one. This is also 2013, and it's from K & Company, and it's called Smash. And so I used that one too. So you'll notice throughout pieces of scrapbooking paper that I made some elements with. So there's that beautiful fabric again on the inside. And then on the first page, I used a piece of that paper and I made a pocket. I actually didn't make a pocket, that's a lie. This is a bag. Where do I have one to show you? So something like, oh boy. totally disorganized right now. It's one of those brown, sort of, I'd like to say glassine, but brown bags. And so this is actually, the whole bag goes through. So this is the front and this is the back of it. I made a page, I made the pages separately before I sewed them all in and decorated them. So I decorate them all separately and then sew them in. But this is actually made out of one of those bags. And I folded it up in such a way so that it would create a pocket at the top and a pocket at the bottom. So now I've kind of jumped ahead of myself, but that's what this whole page is about. So on this side of the bag, I just put, I attached a piece of the paper that I used out of the paper pad. I created a couple of tags to go inside. I made a pocket with hook and loop tape to hold the flap down. I just put an extra card in there. I used my envelope punch board for that, I believe. And then I just layered up some tickets and fabric and such on there. And then I left the pocket open so that I could put these inside. So back to this. This is the bag, and so inside there is the pocket. So I cut both ends so that you could put stuff inside the pocket. So there's just some extra journaling paper in there. And then if you take off this paper clip, you can pull out some extra ephemera. So there you can see the bag that I used. And I opened the bag up in such a way that I was able to fold down and make a pocket on the top and a pocket on the bottom. And then so the back is exactly the same. There's a pocket there and there. And then inside there is just a doily, an old envelope, and some extra pieces of paper from the paper pads. And I just put that all together. And that slides into there. And it won't fall out. But because the doily was on there and the whole thing, I used a paper clip to make sure that it didn't all come apart there. So that was that. I had fun making those. If you guys are at all interested in any of the pages that you see or any ideas that you see that you might like me to show you, don't hesitate to ask in the comments below, and I will show you what I did. Sometimes it's hard to explain, but I like to change my pages up a little bit because I'm not so great at that. I always seem to do the same thing, but sometimes my brain kicks in and I start messing around with, you know, folding and things, and it becomes a little bit more interesting to me anyway. So this is a piece of paper out of the paper pad. It's super cute. It says the space for writing messages. So I created something, just said it needed an envelope, so I found this cute paper. I put an envelope on there. It just tucks into that little heart, the flap, and I attached some extra ephemera inside. For journaling, there's lots of places to write inside here. That just goes in there. And I left the top open, and I got this little alteration tag. Lil Rondelie sent these to me quite some time ago, and I wanted to hoard, but I'm going to use some of the things, and the blues went really nice. So thank you very much, Lil Rondelie. And I hope you're doing okay out there in California. And I made a pocket with some of that paper, again, just tucked. I think that's Tim Holtz. And then this is another page right here. I used some paper from the paper stack. And this is another separate page that I made. And I took one sheet of scrapbook paper and I folded it and sewed it in such a way so that I would get, so here's the other side of it. So I kind of folded it in a triangular shape and then folded it up and then back down on itself and then sewed it together. So on this side I end up with a pocket, and there's just a giant card in there. And then on this side of it, I allowed for another place to be able to tuck something in. You probably could stick something up there. I didn't, but that's a card that I had in my stash. Postcard. There's some tickets that I coffee stained. And then on this page, I coffee stained all the paper. I just had an extra piece of fabric, so that's all really I had left. And I folded it over onto this page here. And so there's a paper clip holding that, and there's just some ephemera in there. So that's another piece of paper out of the book. And I just attached some fabric to it and did some crazy stitching down the side. And then this is another page that I created. So this one has just a doily on it. I would like, something is missing here. I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know, but I think I got to put something here. So I had these old airmail envelopes, and so I attached a piece of paper to it here on the front. I just made a little pocket, or little tuck, sorry, right there, and put some tickets inside. And this flips open, and I shortened the envelope by folding up the bottom to make a little pocket right here. I covered it with some more paper, and inside of there is just some more ephemera that I had. So there isn't really a theme to this one as far as that goes. The other one was like a sewing theme. This one is kind of all over the place. Kind of floral and kind of not, but I don't know. So I just like the colors. I kind of tried to stick with the colors. So this is a piece of paper, a very shiny piece of paper out of that paper pad. And then same thing here is a piece of paper out of the scrapbook paper out of the pad. And then I layered it, backed it on some more paper, and I attached a guest check to it. And then I built this up just a little bit with some bits of stuff I had, a doily and a vintage button. There's some tickets that I actually just unglued from there. Okay. And that's that page. And then this one just has a piece of paper from the book, the paper pad, and that was already on the paper, so that was really cute. Just a bunch of numbers. I attached some fabric to it, and it just flips up. Attached it with some staples, kind of raw looking. I like that. On some graph paper. Same thing here. You can probably tuck something up in there. And then this page. So what I did with this one is I showed you these bags that I had gotten. Right? And so what I did with this was I took the bag and I cut. So I had this page that I wanted to use. It's actually, you can't really see it too good, but it's vintage graph paper. I used to use this as a kid, but when you coffee dyed it, the ink runs a little, but I kind of liked the pink, the fact that it was pink. So anyway, what I did with that was I took the little bag and I cut it down one side, and I actually, like a sleeve, slipped it on over this page, so over this sheet, so that I would have an opening on this side and an opening on this side. So obviously it wasn't sewn into the book yet, so I was able then to take it to my sewing machine and then run a stitch along here and here and up the top. So the whole thing is actually attached to the page, but I left the top open to still use it as a little bag and a little tuck spot. So I can show you how I did that also if you would like, but pretty straightforward. So then inside is just some coffee stained ledger that I had, and when I was going through my stuff cleaning the basement, I had lots and lots of cards that people had sent me, and cards and birthday cards and all kinds of Christmas cards and all kinds of things. And so I went through them all. I threw away a whole bunch, but I kept a lot of the ones that had really pretty fronts. So this is actually from a card that someone gave me, and I just put that in there. And then on this side, I put just some tags that I made. These were just quickly made. On this side, I actually attached a piece of scrapbook paper just so it looked different than the other side. And then on this page, I made a pocket. This is scrapbooking paper, so I just attached a piece of scrapbook paper down to my page, but I left the side open, and then I just I put in some extra paper in there. Ledger paper, I made a tag, which I forgot to put some string through. I just did some sewing on the front there. And then there's the other half of the bag. Just some pieces of ephemera and scrapbook paper. I used some Tim Holtz people throughout. And then there's that graph paper that I was talking about, the pink graph paper. And so these are extra long sheets, so I folded it over and made a little pocket here, sewed some tickets down the side, and just put a little postcard in there. There's another sheet of paper, good for journaling. Same for here, and then here I just used some Japanese, very pretty Japanese paper that I had, delicate. I just put some fabric, some lace and fabric, and a ticket I stapled onto there. And then this side I just made a pocket. I attached a receipt to it, did some sewing, and put a few extra pieces inside my journal. My tags are tags that I showed you guys a long time ago. I actually just went through a whole bunch of paper pads and pulled out a whole bunch of paper, and then I sat in front of the TV and I just basically took my my die cutting machine and cut out piles and piles and piles of tags. And I forgot that I had them, to be honest. And then I looked over and I'm like, you know what, maybe I should. So I found some things that kind of matched, and I'm trying to use them throughout. So I do that all the time. I do things and then I forget anyway. But there's, okay, and then this is the other side of that page that I showed you with the airmail envelope. On this side, I made a little paper clip with that fabric. And then I used a larger airmail envelope. I believe I got these from my lovely friend Jill. Hi Jill, I hope you guys are doing well. She sent me these, so thank you very much. I'm getting around to using all of these beautiful things. So when you open this, I kind of made it like a separate little journal on the side. So you fold it out, and inside is, I put book page on the back. I made this little pocket, so at the top is a place that you can put some ephemera, and then I made another little pocket on the front here. It's also a flip up, but you could put extra things in there if you'd like. And then on this side, I just did a side pocket, just using, that's a dictionary page and book page. It's actually from a very old math book, but there's some ephemera, and I just tucked it in there. And I love how that turned out. So that just folds up like that onto itself. I probably could put something here, but I don't know yet. So, and that just goes on there to hold it closed. There's the doily again. Another Tim Holtz, cutest little boy ever. Coffee stain paper. There's just this, here's another birthday or thank you card that someone gave me, and I just tore off the front, and some paper from the paper pad. And there's just some scrapbook paper in that pocket. And then on this page, I just had, that's graph paper from the paper pad. So is this. There's some more Tim Holtz people there. I made this into an envelope. I used this punch board for that, so not the regular punch board, but this one makes it's called a We Are Memory Keepers. Sorry, I'm holding it like that because of the glare. Pocket punch board. I showed you guys this before. I'm actually enjoying using it. I quite like it. So it makes this envelope here. So I made that out of some map paper. Inside is just another place for journaling. And then in the top, I glued this down and I left the top open, and I just attached a little booklet that unfolds like that with some extra writing paper inside. It just closes up like that and goes in there. And then there's the other side of our brown bag there, and it's the same thing. This stuff pulls out, this little pocket there and there, and then there's some extra paper inside. And that's the back. That's the last page. So I'm not gonna lie, what happened here was I ran out of fabric. And it is sewn closed under here. It matches, everything is fine, but I could see the seam and I wasn't too happy about it. It wasn't bad. I mean, probably, I know I could have lived with it, but I'm a little particular about that stuff. And so what I decided to do was just take a piece of the paper and I glued it onto there. I just added a ticket and I made a little pocket. I don't normally do that, but you know, when there's and I'm not going to call it a mistake because like I said, it's fine. It was, the fabric completely met up and whatever, but I knew that there was a seam there, and yeah, so that's what I did, how I fixed it. I just put a little tuck spot on there. So that's it. That's the back. So I haven't named them or labeled them yet. And I don't normally do that until like, so if I'm going to sell them or give it away, I kind of like to leave that option open for the person that I am going to be giving it to or selling it to or whatever the case is, and let them decide. So I usually, unless I know what I want to call it, I don't usually put a name on it, but there's plenty of room to do that if I so choose, or put a nameplate on there, you know, something like that. But for right now, I'm just going to keep it plain. So that's it, you guys. That's my next journal. We're going to move on to another one, and that's it. So like I said, if there's anything that you saw inside there that you want me to show you, I would be more than happy to do that for you and create a video. Other than that, I pray that everybody is doing well and staying safe and healthy. And we're going to get through this, guys. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're all going to be okay. And that's it. So I love you guys, and we will talk to you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.